I see amazing people that work incredibly hard, would add so much value to organisations, being locked out of these opportunities.
My dad's always sort of saying to me, like, I would just go out and make a film in your spare time. But I'm like, well, how can I do that when I need to actually get a full-time job to live?
People sometimes forget that applying for jobs is a job in itself. It's so time consuming and there's usually not a reward in sight. So it kind of takes a toll on your mental health and your self-esteem.
So, David, we've known each other a long time, and I'm delighted to say you are joining Daring Capital as an investor. What interests you about becoming a social investor?
Well, we know each other from the charity you used to run, By Project, which was a fantastic charity, and I approached you then. But the new venture for me is something about how you can get involved with innovative young companies that are having a bigger reach in their community, and putting your money there and sort of having an emotional involvement with it, like any investment. Sometimes with charities you invest and off it goes and you watch them doing what they're doing, which is obviously sometimes great work. But really getting in at the grassroots of good companies that are, it seems to me, doing work that nobody else is doing, that's really exciting for me. First of all, can we just introduce yourselves, Susan?
Yeah, I'm Abby.
Okay, Abby.
I'm Hannah.
Hannah.
Santiago.
Santiago, and I'm David. So what's been your experience in terms of getting into the creative industries?
It's been quite difficult, really, because I graduated uni in 2018 now. So I majored in directing. The big thing for me that I found is when I first graduated, there was a lot of sort of a week works experience here and there with different production companies.
And no pay.
And then it's just kind of like you try and follow up with that, and then it's just like door closed. My dad's always sort of saying to me, like, I would just go out and make a film in your spare time. But I'm like, well, how can I do that when I need to actually get a full-time job to live?
Yeah.
I can't just, go and make a film without a budget, a crew. It's been difficult, to say the least.
And what's been your experience?
Yeah, so I originally started out wanting to act. Went to performing arts school to do acting. Then I decided that I really want to get into production. Right now, 6% of jobs in TV and film are advertised. It's all about who you know, it's not what you know. You can go to film school for years. It doesn't matter, you all have to start in the same place, being a runner, and the hardest part is getting your foot in the door. So it's just been this cycle, and it's sort of never ending, but I think the main thing is just building up your network and really going from there.
And how about you? What's your experience been?
I think it has been difficult as well. I relate a lot to how you sometimes feel like the best person for the job if you know the right people, because I think that's how I've gotten experiences in theater, in film. I'm mainly a writer, so my dream is to just put my stuff out there. But like you mentioned, how are you supposed to be at peace with that when you have bills to pay?
Okay, so let's just talk about the application process. I mean, give us some of your nightmare stories of that.
I have a spreadsheet that tracks all my applications, and it's hundreds. And I think maybe 5% get back to me when they say, you haven't got it. It's just giving so much time that you don't have because you have to work to pay the bills and do everything else. And then you can't even do what you want to do.
When I sort of graduated, I think the first couple of years, close to hundreds. I think in my first sort of 12 months of graduated, about 200 jobs.
And people don't get back to you?
No, most of them just never come back. The ones that do reject you, it's just a rejection email saying they're unable to provide feedback because it's such a large company.
People sometimes forget that applying for jobs is a job in itself. It's so time consuming and there's usually not a reward in sight. So it kind of takes a toll on your mental health and your self-esteem. And you're kind of wondering what's next, especially as an immigrant, you move to follow your dreams, you move to make something of yourself, and you're slowly kind of thinking to yourself, oh, should I just lower myself down and just go for any job instead of my passion?
Yeah.
And it's hard to not listen to that voice.
I think that's the big thing for me, was trying to find out who I was, and I found that out because I did lots of different work. Whereas if you're not getting any work, you can't find that out. It's like, what do I like? Well, give me lots of options and I'll tell you,
I'm Sophie O'Brien. I'm the founder of Pollen careers, and we are an entry-level careers community. We have lots of young people, career changers, people just trying to get their foot in the door in their longer-term career opportunity, and we matchmake them with our network of employers that we're trying to encourage to think differently about how they hire and screen candidates.
So we've been talking to 3 young people today, and they've been outlining the problems that they're facing in the industry, getting into the industry. So what do you provide for them and how do you help them?
I feel like the world of recruitment and job hunting has become so inhuman. People have applied to hundreds of jobs over the course of many years and still continue to face knockback after knockback. We have a community space, we do in-person events, masterclasses, mentorship, anything that can make that whole experience more positive and more productive. We've actually removed CVs entirely from our processes, which are proven to inflict bias in the hiring process. So what we're doing is streamlining all of that processing for employers that allow young applicants to actually prove themselves based on not just their skills, but also who they are as a person. Because actually for junior positions and entry-level jobs, the biggest things that employers are looking for are attitude and things like proactivity, willingness to learn. Those are the things that make somebody succeed and make them a good match with that organisation, but often aren't screened for and can't be ascertained from a CV.
And we've just heard that, you know, sometimes people get into a workplace and the atmosphere and the experience is not a good one.
Yeah.
Are you still there for them then, once they've got their job?
We exclusively work with good employers that will pay the real living wage, that will commit to our 100% feedback guarantee for candidates, and that commit to providing safe and supportive workplaces. Typically, we're working with B Corps, charities, progressive organisations where they're open to thinking differently about how they hire, and that have already identified that if you hire in a more inclusive and diverse way, this actually leads to better commercial outcomes for the business.
Right. So how can the young people we've seen today, how can they find you?
So the main place that people find is actually on TikTok. So we're on a lot of social media channels, but we're an inclusive community. Anybody can join us regardless of the industry that they're trying to get into, their background, their experience. We don't filter people out based on their those criteria.
So where do you think this could go?
I mean, for me, part of this was about building a business, but part of this is also about wider systemic change. There are certain industries where it's still who you know, and where only those with elite academic qualifications or with experience in prestigious organisations get ahead. And every day I see amazing people that work incredibly hard, would add so much value to organisations, being locked out of these opportunities. What I really vision for the future is companies adopting entirely different recruitment strategies that make sure that these people get fair access. And it's not just about doing good, it's about including these people in your processes and not just automatically filtering them out through your screening processes. And that's really what I want to happen, is for employers to start thinking differently.